On January 22, 2016, the night after an embarrassing regular season loss to the Golden State Warriors on national TV, the Cleveland Cavaliers decided to fire at-the-time head coach David Blatt. Despite having an Eastern Conference leading 30-11 record and an NBA Finals appearance in his first season to his name, Blatt apparently had failed to live up to Cleveland's lofty expectations. As we all know, the Cavs then replaced him with assistant coach Tyronn Lue. Although without any prior head coaching experience, Cleveland essentially threw Lue into the lion's den and see if he could spark the missing link they believed the team was missing. Now, while the plan did work out in the 2016 NBA Finals, as the Cavs came back from a 3-1 deficit against all odds to defeat the Golden State Warriors, the jury was still out on whether Ty Lue was actually an effective coach. Due to LeBron and Kyrie's hero ball in that series, it was hard to gauge Lue's importance to the actual success of the team. But if we fast forward to today, however, with just over 2 years to analyze what Ty Lue does bring to the table, I finally have a verdict. Tyronn Lue, head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers, is quite possibly the worst coach in the NBA, and I have 3 reasons as to why. So what is good, people's kid? How we doing? It's your boy Kobe, back at it again with another video, and as always, I hope you guys are having a blessed day. With the new look Cavs playing 500 ball since the trade deadline and dropping winnable games left and right, I thought it was time to discuss the Cavs' biggest hindrance from winning or even making it to the NBA Finals this year, and that is head coach Ty Lue. Now, this isn't meant to be a slander piece aimed at Lue fueled by emotion, but rather fair criticism on what I believe are consistent failures on behalf of his role as the leader of this Cavs group. So as always, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and with that said, let's get into it. Number 3. No control or discipline over his team. Ah man, remember the times where people thought Ty Lue was the only person on the Cleveland coaching staff that wasn't afraid to back down from LeBron?
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
All jokes aside, in what is almost now an ironic twist, the same major reason Blatt got the boot from Cleveland has become a critical issue for Lue this year. Simply put, the players just don't respect him. To provide context though, Lue's style does follow traditionally that of a player's coach, meaning there is more room for collaboration and feedback from his players more than say a guy like Tom Thibodeau, who is pretty authoritative with the way that he coaches. From my perspective, a head coach always wants to have a good balance of likability and respect from his players, because the right combination of both will positively impact the overall effort level and attitude of the team. A major consequence of being a player's coach though, is that you might trade off a bit of respect to gain this aforementioned likability. And as a result, what I personally see constantly troubling Cleveland this year is Lue's lack of authoritative presence in the locker room. Small things like letting Isaiah Thomas rip into your coaching style to the press, or giving J.R. Smith a slap on the wrist after he throws a bowl of soup at one of your coaches are just a few examples of what a coach with poor leadership qualities look like. Sure, the players might like you, or see you more as a friend, but when it comes to listening and implementing what you want them to do, they're just not going to respond well to your demands. Combine this style with a room full of disgruntled aging veterans, and you get the toxic culture Cleveland had before the trade deadline. Even though LeBron does carry some blame for undermining Lue's direction here and there, it may also be a result of having zero confidence in Ty's coaching ability. Which brings me to my next point. Number 2. He repeatedly takes too long to adjust tactics or does not adjust at all. The great Albert Einstein once said, "Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results." So if by chance anyone who watches this video could pass this along to Ty Lue, because I really think he might need to incorporate this into his coaching principles. The moment I personally realized Ty Lue was way in over his head was during the stretch the Cavs were getting their clock clean in January, and he simply decided to continue to run the same lineups and sets over and over again. Look, I love J.R. Smith's ability to get hot at a moment's notice, but playing him 25 to 30 minutes a night where he gives you nothing is unacceptable. In short, the basic adjustments you would expect from Lue either never occur or take way too long to materialize. Even now, anyone and their grandma could have told you Larry Nance is a far better option than Tristan Thompson this year for Cleveland, yet it took a Tristan injury for Nance to finally get consistent starters minutes. In addition, because of Lue's abysmal X's and O's pedigree, so much of Cleveland's success at end of games is largely dependent on the shoulders of LeBron, whether it be in ISO situations or predictable plays that teams are now starting to smell a mile away. This isn't to say Lue hasn't had to battle adversity from players being injured or adopting a new team mid-season, but he has proven to constantly mismanage players and is affecting the bottom line point blank. And on the topic of mismanaging players, number 1, he's risking the long-term health of LeBron by playing him way too much. At 33 years old, LeBron James is accomplishing things on the court players his age are not meant to accomplish. Averaging 26.9 points per game, 8.4 rebounds per game, and 9.0 assists per game on a ridiculous 54% from the field, James is confidently proving on a night-to-night basis he is still the king and best player in the NBA. But whether or not his play indicates it, LeBron is not getting any younger. In fact, he's getting to the age where a serious injury could derail his form in a more permanent manner than if he was, say, 23 years old. With this in mind, and easily understood by 99.9% of NBA fans, why in the hell does LeBron average over 37 minutes per game? Good for the number 2 spot in the entire NBA. Before I hear people say he's averaged that his whole career, or that the Cavs need him to play that many minutes to win, remember that LeBron may only have a few years left in this form, so why do we see so many of his games around 40 minutes a contest? In contrast, the fact that the Celtics' Kyrie Irving averages just 32.4 minutes per game as the main scoring option for an already 50-win Boston club shows it's more than possible to succeed without having to overextend your franchise player every single night. Out of all these criticisms of Ty Lue, this is by far the easiest move to execute on. Just play him less. Of course, once the playoffs start, as many minutes needed as possible makes sense, but until then, there is no reason to play with the fire that is LeBron's health. Look no further than the death of the Black Mamba in April 2013 as evidence this risk is real and 100% possible. So with the fact that Lue continues to jeopardize this game by game along with the other reasons I already mentioned, makes me think 1, he has no clue what he's doing, and 2, he quite possibly is the worst coach in the NBA. Anyways guys, that's the video, hope you enjoyed. A little on the shorter end, but enough time to get my point across because man, I think Ty Lue is doing a horrible job as a head coach. Now I know my reasons aren't the only ones as to why he's doing so poorly, so let me know your guys' other thoughts in the comments below.